So there are two things that I enjoyed during my childhood. That is the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films and Beyblade. I grew up with it, and something that's really crazy, Hasbro, through using the power of their collaboration and partnership with Takara Tomy, uses the Marvel brand to have a Beyblade X, which is the newest generation of Beyblade, in collaboration with Marvel, which is really crazy. And in this one, we're taking a look at the Spider-Man and Venom 2-pack, which is such a weird, as Beyblades, right? As Beyblades. Now, I do want to give a huge shout out to Lando. Lando actually did help out in getting these 2-pack collaboration stuff, so huge shout out to them. All right, now we get to the fun part. 3, 2, 1, let rip, let rip. Can you imagine you roll up to a tournament, you know, pull up your bays, you know, someone just pulls out a fucking Venom. Just going over it to now breaking down the system. If you're new to Beyblade X and you're wondering how does this work, your blade is the main thing that makes contact with your opponent. That's the top part. Your ratchet is the middle part, which determines how tall you are and your burst resistance. But not only that, your bit also determines burst resistance because of the shaft, but also determines your movement pattern. So starting off with talking about Spider-Man. So interesting here is basically how Hasbro handles any of their exclusive content as they order the Takara Tomy designers to do for them. So essentially what they've done here is, you can either call it a retooling or I just call it an echo. It is a modified version of a previously existing blade. So in the case of Spider-Man, it is a retooling of that of Tail Viper. More interesting is that we've gotten this before with Talon Terra, but Talon Terra varies a lot more in shape. Instead, Spider-Man, I would say, in its shape and design, is a lot closer to that of Tail Viper without too many modifications to the blade. There is definitely some will mention it. Spider-Man has an interesting web pattern that they kind of molded on, though I do feel like they kind of gave not too much of a shit about it because they didn't really do that much of interesting molding detail, kind of like Talon Terra had. But aside from that, essentially what you're going to be expecting here is that technically speaking, Spider-Man is a stamina type blade as it's based off of Tail Viper, but the actual use out of this is purely attack. Those little deep curves and fangs are supposed to dig into the opponents and kind of like KO them out. It's not too crazy how they modified Spider-Man because there is still a little bit of issues, like for an example, a little bit of a gap on the blade, and it doesn't hang as low as I would have wanted. But we'll move on to the ratchet, which is 360, which I do want to mention this should just be red and blue. 360 is an alright low height ratchet. Generally with ratchets, in terms of size and burst resistance, 3 size is well rounded off, and overall is a solid stuff. You're going to be using this probably on universally anything really. And your flat bit has a thick resistor on there and is just good for any of the attack stuff, and is a decent kind of blue that they picked there. Now moving on to, so with Venom, this is a retooling of that of Sword Drawn, though surprisingly, in the original retooling we have gotten of this from Takara Tomy, which was a Phoenix Feather blade, they really did modify it quite a bit. And in general, sometimes these retoolings, their echoes are modified at least a lot from the original shape. But even in the same case of Venom here, other than the detailing on the top of like kind of like this kind of cool symbiote thing that they're kind of got going on, it's not really modified in shape. So basically Venom's going to be more or less verbatim the same performance as Sword Drawn, even if there's a slight difference in the weight. So yeah, cool. And if you're wondering on generally what you could be expecting out of Venom to do here, because of the curves on the blades, it should be just basically kind of doing kind of a little bit of upper attack, but a lot of smash attack. It does also have a little bit of triangular contact points on the edges there. Those wear off over time and it becomes a little bit more rounded off, so it becomes slightly harder to use for attack stuff. But otherwise, Venom, you're looking at basically a decent attack blade. It comes with a 380 ratchet, so 380 is pretty tall. You generally don't use it on attack stuff. You can if you want to, but it's generally used in preference to like stamina or defense type of stuff, which it does come with the bit of Needle. Needle is an okay defense bit. It can take really big hits. It doesn't have too much stamina, but it's alright. And yeah, let's just take a look at it. Alright, now to quickly go over with Beyblade X. To unlock a Beyblade X and to make them burst in battle, at least one of the ways is to turn the ratchet that causes the release. Now, if I have a bit, for an example, in my hand, like Needle right here, where you can see the shaft of Needle is without any resistance, it's going to be super easy to turn and unlock because there's nothing there to actually resist it. Now, if I give the Spider-Man blade, let's say flat, where there is a resistor here on the shaft, And then after I try to unlock it, it's gonna be a lot harder because there's a resistor there. These are just things to consider when you are customizing, not the end all be all. Alrighty, let us start off with seeing how heavy are these releases, and we'll start off first with the original Tail Viper 34.33 Spider-Man. It's time to retire. It's time to retire. Technically, again, it's the TT Designers. That is 2 grams of difference. The 360, 6.24, and then after this, like, flat 2.18, 41.32 grams. We have our lovely Sword Drawn, which is about 34.92. Venom is very much closer in the shape of this. What is this? Okay. Kind of like slightly on the lower end, but okay enough. Venom is already, by the way, super close to that shape of Sword Drawn, so I assume more or less like this is gonna be very similar performance, which is kind of funny because there was a previous bay of past. This bay is called Phoenix Feather. I'm using the Japanese one. This is more of an actual variation to Sword Drawn than I feel Venom is, because Venom, it's like the contacts are more or less the same. Like, if you even compare this right now, like, dude. Altogether now you got about 43.43 grams. So, I mean, I would have liked it again if they had custom art for these collaborations, just because, you know, I don't really like the feeling of just using like these, like, what, evergreen renders. It's such an odd one to pick for Spider-Man. I think the web pattern is kind of cool, though, I mean, even compared to Talon Tear, I feel like Talon has a little bit more in the design of it, being an Echo. I mean, the contacts are not really. Venom at least looks cool, man. Venom at least looks cool. Like, yeah, you know, it's not really that modified of an Echo, but god damn it, this looks really sick. I do agree that I feel like for this one in particular too, I feel like just part of this section feels at least this is pretty modified. The side stuff, it would have been cool if they did something interesting with it, but I do want to get a custom sticker of McGuire. I just want to put it on here and just try to run it on like a Hasbro only event. Alrighty, so before we get started, I want to show off these Marvel launchers. So these launchers are really bad, but I'll first do a test launch with it, let it rip. So the reason why these launchers just are not good is just because, you know, 1, they're hard to hold, 2, the cord is a really short length, so I'm going to give a little recommendation here. Use a winder or use a string launcher. They're easier to hold and to use, but we'll launch Spider-Man now. Such a weird thing to say. Let it rip. I'm going to go too crazy on the launch. Alrighty, well, I'm joined here by the talented blader that is my mother. Now, who do you want to use? Venom or Spider-Man? I hate that little sentence. Gonna rip. Hey, what the fuck was the launch? You can't just go on top of the shroud. Okay, well, hey, shit. First round goes to Venom, I guess. Gonna rip. Okay. Next up, Spider-Man takes it with an outspin. He's on the rip. Oh my god! It's Venom. He's on the rip. I'm barely doing any damage to it, actually. He's on the rip. He's on the rip. He's on the rip. So to launch this Venom combo, which is an odd one, you kind of have to tilt, right? Maybe too hard of a tilt there, but it's just to kind of like wary off a little bit of the attacks. Okay, never mind. I guess I was wrong. Rip. Okay, you may have just got an entire set, but this next round, it's the Venom shoot. You're gonna rip. Look at this. I'm gonna win, like I said. I have to get used. If I don't get used to it, yeah, I'll lose. But here, come on. Oh my god. Gonna rip. Again, I lose. I was gonna say again, I got another point, but then after that's a lie, because I didn't. I didn't. Okay, that's alright. Next round, I'm gonna rip. Hey, burst by recoil release. So you either burst by the ratchet coming off or a recoil release where I don't know, the impact is so strong it's just caused the bit to slide. Kick you on the rip. Alright, enough of this, enough of this. I have the original Tail Viper that this is based on. So you want, okay, so I'll get Spider-Man then. Kick you on the rip. Kick you on the rip. And a burst! Alrighty. Well, I mean, to be fair, this is not meant to be on a stamina combo. The reason why Spider-Man's on an attack combo is because it's got an aggressive shape. Between now, Venom and Sword Drawn, who do you want? Okay, I have Venom. Actually, you can have fun with this. Kick down the rip. Technically speaking, I should be winning these rounds. Kick down the rip. Okay, it appears I spoke a little too soon. Lincoln, you'll miss it. Kick down the rip. Go, Venom! You gonna cry? Kick down the rip. I still don't know if I agree with Venom being a defense type. Kick down the rip. This works, this works. I promise you this works.
Did I win?
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
Okay.
The final round, Venom, Spider-Man, you pick whatever, only but one round only, so that's your only shot.
Alright, alright.
Kick down the rip. I just had to help. No. 3, 2, and go! Good job, proud of you. Alrighty, final thoughts. What do I think of Spider-Man and Venom? I think Spider-Man's a little bit of a disappointment just because the weight of it is a little bit lower than that of Tail Viper. So if you're going to be using this for attack stuff, you're at a little bit of a disadvantage. I do think it seems to hit at least a little bit similar, but the weight just kind of makes it a little bit less likely to be used generally. I think Venom, on the other hand, is since it's more or less exactly the same as Sword Drawn, it's going to probably be in the same place, I would probably say. It's also probably cooler looking than Spider-Man, in all honesty, for the detail and everything. But I think for this 2-pack, if you're getting into Beyblade X, it's okay, it's okay. I mean, you got basically a Spider-Man with a good combination, and you kind of maybe, yeah, it's okay. You know, I don't know, it's a silly thing, it's a silly thing. I really want to use Venom in tournaments because I really want to put a Bully Maguire Beyblade X sticker on it, so that is going to be my goal. That is my goal. Anyways, what do you think of these collaboration bays? What do you think of Spider-Man or Venom? What's your favorite Spider-Man in any media, or your favorite Venom? That'll be the debate in the comments, I guess. Alrighty, thank you for watching. That'll be it for now. Take care and bye.